Should you get an appraisal before you put your home on the market? I'm Amy Shrader with RE/MAX Real Estate 10. I do a lot of residential business here in Morristown, and so I'm going to talk to you about why maybe you should or why maybe you shouldn't get an appraisal before you go to sell your house. I know when I go on a listing appointment, a lot of times sellers, that's one of the first questions they ask me is, do we need to get an appraisal done? And my answer is typically going to be no. An appraisal is going to cost you $500 to $700. And if the buyer is doing financing, they're going to have to get their own appraisal done anyway. Their lender is not going to accept an appraisal that you had done to begin with. Now, I'm not saying that everybody doesn't need to do an appraisal, but in most cases, I just don't see the need for it. If you have a very unique property, if you have a high dollar lakefront home, if you have a farm maybe that's going to have a lot of outbuildings, fences, cattle waterers, things like that, it may be worth your while to get an appraisal done before you go on the market. Homes like that can be very hard to comp, meaning there's not going to be a whole lot of them out there. So having an appraisal done is going to give you a professional idea of what your list price needs to be. It also gives you negotiating power with the buyer when you can say, I know my home is worth X. We've already had an appraisal done. This is what it came in at. It's also going to help you to attract a serious buyer. If they know that you've already had an appraisal done, they know that your price is backed by a professional's opinion, so they're not going to be coming at you ready to lowball you on a price. Now, an appraisal is also going to give you some ideas of things you could do to help your home's value. It's going to give you some strategic updates that you maybe could do before you list your house to help you improve the value of it. So, as I said, the cons of getting an appraisal up front is obviously going to be price. It could be $500 to $700, could be more than that, depending on how big your home is or how much acreage is involved with that. And appraisals are depending on past sales. They're looking at what has sold in the past 3-6 months. They may not be always up to date with properties that are on the market, properties that are pending. They might be using some of the outdated information. And even with an appraisal, there's no guarantee that your home is going to sell for the appraised value. Market dynamics and buyer perceptions are going to play a huge role in what the final sales price of your home is. So deciding to get an appraisal before you list is really going to be a personal decision. It does offer some benefits, but there's some cons involved as well. As your real estate expert, I can help you navigate that decision and help you get your home ready for a successful sale. I'm Amy Shrader with RE/MAX Real Estate 10.